Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of Intelligence Check. I apologize for our lack of continuity, but some of us are very busy, so we can't always. We try our best to be prompt and weekly as much as we can, but shit happens, life happens.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm your host today. My name is Paul or Grim, whichever you prefer. On the other side of me, I say me, other side of my whatever. We have Conrad Simmons. What's up, boy?
Hello.
And of course, the illustrious DM Steve.
I don't like it illustrious, but okay.
So today we wanted to this is something I wanted to do. Like I we were supposed to do last week, which was talk about the bard. But I pushed it, one, because I'm not a fan of bards, and two, because multiclassing was something I really wanted to get into because a lot of the players were asking me about it. That said, though, today we're going to dive into the player's handbook and pick out and show you what the bard can do and what its purpose is in the party, should you choose to play a bard. So, surface level, how would you guys describe the bard?
They're fun. To put it,
It
very
is-
bland and plainly. Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
I would say the Bard is the ultimate tool or the ultimate class for anyone who is looking to engage the game more from the roleplay perspective. I think it is the most roleplay
agreed.
centric of classes ultimately.
Agreed. Yeah.
So while the wizard is the utility that it's like a multi-tool, the bard is a Swiss Army knife because it has a fucking wine opener on it. Essentially.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you have a person, it doesn't matter if the person is like a performer or whatever. It's just that as long as the person can talk their way through things with NPCs in game as a bard, you can have good fun.
Yeah, it's like bards and paladins being, or even warlocks for that matter. You are considered the face of the party. You are the charismatic, upfront, I can talk to anybody and get anything I want kind of situation type thing.
Not get anything you not get anything you want, but you can turn things in your favor.
Right.
Most of the time, I would say, at least.
Yeah. Steve, you got anything to add to that? Or?
Usually that's the case. I think that's kind of more the general archetype for it is that, but there's enough room within the design of Bard itself that you can make a Bard that is not super charismatic ultimately, at least in the normal sense of, talking to people, like College of Valor, College of Swords, so forth. All those have tools for more of a martial focus, and you can easily make one who is, just focused on their craft, as it were, or whatever, because ultimately the bard can be, you just get magic from your art, so whatever your art takes the form of, whether that's, singing, whether that's, I've had people who wanted to play like a stand-up comedian as a bard, which I think is a good concept. Interpretive dance is one I've seen before, where they literally just their character was a mute, so everything they did was just, I do an interpretive dance for my bard inspiration.
Yeah, it's amazing. See what I'm saying? They're fun.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's a lot of flavor you can bring to the bard.
There's a lot of flavor.
Yeah. Because you got spells like bardic inspiration, or you've got vicious mockery, for example, or even Tasha's hideous laughter. You can crack a bad joke and make someone do shit. Like, there's a lot of flavor and a lot of stuff that you can do and have fun with, which I'm not very good with. Like, I'm not good at that shit. Like, I can't come up with like a good joke on the fly. It's like, no, all my jokes are like an hour long. So it's like not really great for a combat situation. But that said, let's dive in. So right at the gate, I'm telling you guys right now, Steve and Khan are going to take lead on this one because I'm not a fan of the bard personally. That's my personal preference. These two enjoy the class, so I'm going to have them. What's one looking for you? What's I'm looking for? Shill it out to you, I guess. Sell it to you. Should you wish to partake in the musical or other artistic forms of magic, guys, take it away.
All right. So, and again, we're taking everything from Player's Handbook, just so you guys remember. We haven't jumped to any of the books as yet, any of the other books as yet.
I mean, also the reason why
But-
we haven't done that either is also because all the base stats
Yeah.
for the classes are all available in the player's handbook.
In this, exactly.
all the other
exactly.
expanded books give you new subclasses to work with. That's why we're talking. That's why we're using the player's handbook for now. We'll definitely dive
Mhm.
into the other books much later. But, sorry.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll kickstart it. So, bards. So, straight up, just so you guys know, they are full-on spellcasters. Of course, as Steve did mention earlier, there are a couple of subclasses which give them the ability to become a little more proficient with weapons and decent enough armor also. So it's not like they're bolstered to just standing back and spellcasting. You can choose to be a bard who's proficient with weapons as well, but you'll see that as we get into it. So bards, the first key feature they get is called bardic inspiration. It's amazing. So you can inspire other characters either with your words or with your music. Again, this is however you flavor your bard to be. And to do so, you use a bonus action on your turn to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you. That creature gains one bardic inspiration die, which is a d6. Now, once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll the die and add the number rolled to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw it makes. The creature can wait until after it rolls the d20 after deciding to use the bardic inspiration die, but must decide before the DM says whether the roll succeeds or fails. So just to pause there. So a basic description of what this does, guys, is let's just say you're in combat and it's your turn, you're the bard. You're like, okay, what do I do? Okay, bonus action. I see the barbarians already ready to kick someone's ass. I'll just be like, okay, bonus action, bardic inspiration on him. He's within, I think it's 60 feet. Yeah, 60 feet of me. Bonus action, bardic inspiration, and then action I do whatever. And that person, that character after that can then use this d6 die that they have on their turn to re-roll a d20 roll that they make. And that re-roll can happen either for an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. It's huge.
Yeah,
It's super huge.
adding a d6 to your anything, it's valuable. I mean, again, d6, it's 1 to 6, but that one could save your life.
It could, and it gets better. I mean, it does scale up as you level up. So just so you know, the die becomes a D8 at 5th level, a D10 at 10th level, and a D12 at 15th level. Well, if you make it to level 15, that's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, even D5 or D8, that's already awesome. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, a minimum of once, and you regain any expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Yeah.
And you will see later on there is something which helps with this.
No,
If
I
you
mean,
break it down.
sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
So if you break it down mathematically, essentially it is a 15 to, since it goes up to D12, that'd be 30% chance on average to whatever roll you're adding it to. Which
Right.
anyone who has played anything like XCOM before, that's a huge bonus for anything, because that usually is going to be the threshold you need to succeed on any given roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bardic Inspiration has come in clutch more times than I can count.
Oh yeah.
It's a fantastic feature. Bards, abuse it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Especially once you hit 5th, it becomes just something you need to kind of just hand out like candy.
Every turn. You got nothing to do with your bonus action, just inspire somebody.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time as a bard, you have nothing to do as a bonus action, anything major to do. So, this, trust me, it's good to keep doing this as a bonus action as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the first feature they get, straight off the bat, bardic inspiration. And the next one is Jack of all trades at level 2. Steve, go ahead, take this one.
So, Jack of all trades, as I said, second level ability. you again add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check you make that doesn't already have proficiency, which effectively means you become good at everything, effectively, because you're, especially even early levels, that's still a, +1.
Plus
So
one.
if you-
Yeah.
So if you have a negative score, now that's neutral, and eventually that goes up to a positive score, so you never have to have the worry of, oh, I have no bonus to this skill, because you have a bonus to every skill.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a really good feature for building out, especially more of like the Indiana Jones kind of archetypes or a James Bond style archetype in a way, of someone who's kind of good at everything. He never, because the whole point with those characters usually is that they'll fail, but it's usually a small failure, and this way this helps round it out so it doesn't feel, at least on average, it's going to work out better for you in that regard, so you'll always kind of feel like you're at least somewhat succeeding, or you never have to have that concern, especially with the later abilities they get.
Yeah, so like this is one thing I would say which allows you to peacefully dump certain stats. Jack of all trades, like Steve said, it's a good balance to. So say I dump my my wisdom for whatever goddamn reason. You dump your wisdom. Jack of all trades will let you balance out the dumping that you did in terms of your stat block roll. So it's a good way for you guys to round out. Like again, it's rounding out a character in a way that makes it feel good, which I don't like. I hate this feature, I really do. But I see the appeal. I really do. I do see it, but
Ultimately, it's not that strong of an ability. Like, it is just a way to make a character feel proper for what the overall design of the class is, which is the guy who is just kind of good at whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the name suggests, Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There's no other class that really fills that niche, so putting it on the board makes the most sense.
Yeah. But that's Jack of all trades. Up next.
Up next, we got Song of Rest. Ooh, this is a good one. So again, a second level feat, and when you use your Song of Rest, you can use soothing music or oration, again depending on how you flavor your bard, to help revitalize your wounded allies during a short rest. So if you or a friendly creature who can hear your performance regain hit points at the end of the short rest, each of those creatures regains an extra 1d6 hit points. Woo! It's amazing.
Actually, I've always wondered about this. Is as a DM, would you just say this is a passive thing, or does a bard have to say, I'm using Song of Rest?
I always rule that you have to say that you're using
Mention it? Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say
at
that.
least
That's why I've always
state word.
mentioned it. Yeah, as a bard, I've always mentioned it.
Okay, fair enough.
Because one, depending on where you're at, from a roleplay perspective, it might not be a good idea to do a Song of Rest because you don't want to make noise.
Make noise,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm not going to assume you're doing that. And two, I don't want to potentially take away from the bard if they have something specifically planned for the Song of Rest. Because a lot of people who do, especially get more into the roleplay aspect of it, want to be able to say, like, I do this for my Song of Rest. Or, I play this specific song.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be music or oration. It
Or
can't-
oration.
like,
Yeah.
So you can't do interpretive
Effective,
dance too.
I mean, I guess
I-
that would be up to the DM, I guess.
Yeah, rules as written,
Yeah.
yes, it does say soothing music or oration, but if I had a player who wanted to do an interpretive dance for their Song of Rest, absolutely, I would allow that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's just that it's called Song of Rest, which is why I'm always like,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean-
called. It's just a title. It's just a title.
I know, I get it.
Yeah.
bro. I get
Yeah.
it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, see, because a short rest is happening. If you're dancing, you're not resting, bruh.
I mean, depends on how you're dancing.
True.
And also,
It's
a song rest in general is ultimately just light activity, which can include dancing.
Yeah, fair enough. As a dancer, I disagree, but fair enough.
Interpretive dance usually is a bit slower, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's like in those slow motion movements they do during Bharatanatyam and stuff, not the intense stuff, but the
Yeah, fair enough.
like
fair
you
enough.
know.
Okay, fair. DM discretion.
but
DM discretion.
even say your bard is a painter, for instance,
Ooh,
they could
yeah. Ooh,
they could just
actually-
spend the hour painting a portrait of the party.
That would be
Lighting everyone's mood.
that'd be amazing. A painter part.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
That'd
lie.
be fun. That'd be fun. See, this is the bard, guys. This is the bard. Like it's all about flavor.
I mean,
All
of course.
about
yeah.
how you
And as per usual,
favorite
remember,
would be.
talk to your DM about this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
Yeah.
at its core, it is just I want to do a creative character. Oh, like the character themselves is creative in a way, and it is expressed through magic.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of the core conceit for bards in
For
general.
what the bard is, yeah. And also Song of Rest, the hit point increase goes up. It scales as well. And it's a 1d8 at 9th level, 1d10 at 13th level, and a 1d12 at 17th level.
Which is huge.
Huge. Huge.
Yeah. If you're getting to tier 4 play at 17th level, the D12 isn't going to make that much of a difference unless you're doing a major dungeon crawl, in which case it actually will be pretty valuable.
Super valuable.
Mm.
No, it's,
Yeah, but-
it's mainly because, like, it can save the cleric from having to top you up in case you don't fully heal from all your hit die.
Correct.
So the thing is, like, so it doesn't matter. Okay, quick question. Is it Song of Rest per hit die or just one roll of it at the end of it?
One. It's just regains an extra 1d6 hit points. So after they roll,
Right.
they just regain an extra 1d6 hit points. It's not like 1d6 per hit die
dice.
they roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if it's per hit die, then that's kind
So
of nuts.
that's why it says regain hit points at the end of the short rest. So
Right.
it's more like if they say they're rolling 5 dice, after they roll that 5 dice, they roll an extra 1d6 or a 1d8 at 9th level.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, because I always had a bit
It's-
of questions about that. I was like, I wasn't sure.
It's definitely one of the abilities that is better early game because, D12 at 17th level is an average of 6, and most, your fighters and your barbarians at that point are in triple digits. So, 6 extra hit points is nice, but it's probably not going to be the difference. Whereas early levels, when people are around like 15 to 20-ish hit points, makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And then we
But
hit
yeah.
level 3, the Bard College. Now this is your subclass decision, and the Player's Handbook has 2. So I will let my esteemed colleagues take over for this one.
Go for it, Steve. Start it off. Which one is first in the
Law.
book? I think it's
Law.
Law?
Yeah,
Yeah.
College of Lore is the first one, which is very much the archetypal bard, or at least what most people think of as the archetypal bard, because the major things you get early is the bonus proficiencies. You get 3 skills, extra skills of your choice, which most people are going to have around 5 to 6 when they start out, depending on race, class, background, and so forth. But that, especially combined because you've already gotten Jack of all trades at that point, means you have a pretty wide array of positive scores for your abilities. Honestly, that's one of my favorite features, and it's just because of how simply it's designed. It just kind of fits the idea of what a College of Lore bard is, which is the person who has studied either their art or history or whatever you want to make your College of Lore bard about, because it's probably one of the most wide net ones in that regard as well, as a subclass even.
So yeah, so here's the thing about bonus proficiencies also, is the fact that say your party is lacking, say you're lacking investigation, or you're lacking perception, or you're lacking something else. the bard can fill that role.
Fill it in.
Exactly.
Don't have a rogue?
In a lot of ways.
There you go.
In a lot of ways, it is kind of the filler class, like for the person who wants to be more of a, mechanically speaking, for the person who wants to be more of a support character and kind of fill the gaps in a party composition. Bard is one of the best options for that, and Lore is one of the best options within that class.
Yeah. I think College of Lore is ranked like one of the highest mechanically speaking, highest level of Bard. Hey, Shreyas, you dirty bastard!
What is he saying?
Bards will fill holes. Yeah. Yes. See,
Maruti esteemed colleague.
Fucking nonsense. Worst to fellow you are. But no, yeah. So it's again, it allows you to tailor make however you wish, which is great. And the Cause of Lore is considered to be one of the top tier in terms of Bard subclasses. Should you guys choose to go for it?
Yeah, especially due to his other ability, Cutting Words, which you also get at 3rd level.
Fantastic ability.
Yeah. So basically what that does, anyone within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. You can use your reaction and expend one of your Bardic Inspiration die and subtract that number from whatever the creature rolled. So, say the enemy attacks your wizard and you can use your Cutting Words to potentially make it miss your wizard. Which, especially in those clutch moments, can be huge.
Yeah, it can also save your wizard from having to use his shield or anything else. Save spell slots.
Yeah.
I did not
Or
know
dying.
I did not know it affected damage rolls. I did not know that.
It does.
Ooh, it
Most
does.
people don't use it for that, just because it's usually not going to be that effective. Like, most people are going to want to use it to avoid the attack altogether. But it can be useful, especially like, say, you or an ally gets crit on. You can use that to at least lower some of the damage from the crit.
Right. I mean, like I say, that's one thing I did not know it did, and I was like, oh fuck, that's pretty good actually. I mean, a crit at a higher level means nothing. Like taking, what is it? A D12 off something? It's not massive, but it's
Not massive,
helpful.
but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like we always mention, one damage could be the difference between life and death.
Exactly.
So, But no, Cutting Words, I've seen it used so many times, and it's actually fantastic. And as a DM, I hate it. As a player, I love it.
There's a problem with, I think, the wording of it, which is specifically at the end you can choose to use this feature after it makes the roll, but before the DM determines whether the roll succeeds or fails, which just creates a weird, especially if you're playing it online,
Oh yeah.
it creates a weird situation of like, oh, well, technically I said this already, but, there's a delay here, so I'm going to give that to you. Like, it should just be, in general, features like that I think are kind of silly. It's just like, oh, I forgot I had this ability, can I still use this? Yeah.
Yeah. Leads
I
to
mean-
those situations.
I mean, no, see,
I
I
don't
mean,
want to turn this game into a quick time event.
right. But no, it's also the fact that, see, for example, I mean, again, this is the most problematic when it comes to online play, obviously, because the DM is going to roll, and then you're going to roll after you see what the DM has rolled.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it causes a massive problem with fucking, I don't know if this, you know what I mean? So it's one of those weird things where it's Cutting Words, yeah.
I would say if you're planning on playing a College of Lore Bard, especially, talk to your DM beforehand and see what their ruling is on that.
Right.
Especially if you are playing online, because most systems will show the dice in advance, so it gets weird, and it might be easier just to say, roll the Bardic Inspiration die before I roll.
Right. Actually, it comes down to how the DM's going to run the game as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's quite important.
Just because it can be one of those things also that is just very disruptive towards the flow of combat. If, I've already rolled something, but now I'm waiting for you to roll something to see if it counters this thing.
This is true. Actually, I realized that could be, and now that you mentioned it, it's happened a couple of times where I'm just like, I mean, I like if, for example, I get hit.
Yeah.
And the bard just uses cutting words, and I'm like, as a player, I'm like, oh, thank God. But as a DM, I'm just like, I don't like the way that works. Because they're technically still waiting for my result to happen before I roll. So it's always it's one like Steve said, like, work out your DM when this is gonna happen. How are you gonna do this? Because I mean, there are a few things worse than a bard just losing their inspiration die for nothing. You know what I mean? Especially before 5th level, anyway. Then it's a totally feels bad moment where they just roll inspiration. They roll their cutting words, and it does jack all. And you're just like, oh, that feels bad. That's a feels bad man moment.
Yeah.
Because that happens. But yeah.
It's only words, and words are all I have to
Oh,
I keep checking in on the comments.
Yeah. Part of me regrets keeping it on the screen. But this is how we do. But yeah, so after cutting words, moving on.
Yes.
The next ability College of Lore gets is probably one of the best abilities in the game, bar none, which is additional magical secrets. So for clarification on this ability, one of the abilities bards get later on in general is magical secrets, where
at level 10, I think.
You can gain spells from any spell list, which no other class can do. So that in and of itself is huge. And with College of Lore, you're getting it 4 levels early. So, and you're also just getting 2 extra spells altogether. Because normally magical secrets will count towards your existing spell, the number of spells known. Whereas additional magical secrets is just you get 2 extra spells.
And this is why a lot of people. This is why so many people pick up lore bards.
Lore, yeah. This is what makes it so. Like you were saying earlier, no, Paul. You keep thinking like lore is top. This is why.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because you have access to. Because not only do you get access to those, and at 6th level, which means you're getting at most 3rd level spells, which there's a lot of really valuable 3rd level spells. But you can replace spells every time you level up, and with magical secrets. That means you can replace them with any spell, as long as you're able to cast it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. Because bards get access to the cleric spell list. 3rd level cleric spells are stupid.
Yep.
Holy shit. Wizard spell list. Whatever. Haste. Counter spell. Whatever you want. Fireball. You want fireball?
Yeah.
Take fireball.
This is especially is where the idea that a bard can kind of be anything comes into play even more so, especially with lore, because you can take conjure animals at that level.
Oh god, yeah. My soul.
Like if you wanted to play, some sort of musician who's super in touch with nature, or just like, say you made a super hippie character. Conjure animal looks super cool with that. If you want to have some level of damage, you've got access to Fireball, Lightning Bolt. You can go more in the range of utility. Mass Healing Word is an option. And again, this is just at 6th level, so...
Yeah. Fuck.
My go-to is always Find Steed, and then later on taking Find Greater Steed. Because
look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
amazing.
And you, of course, you always sing that song.
Of course.
For the process of summoning it.
Oh man. Actually, you know what? Okay, wait. We'll talk about Find Steed later because that's a spell I'm very curious about. But yeah, no, it's like this is like additional magical secrets. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, it is one of the most powerful abilities just in general in the game, because it also does scale with you the entire level or the entire character.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's nuts. And getting it this early, while everyone else gets it at 10, you get it at 6. Huge. Especially you learn 2 spells. 2 spells. That's ridiculous.
It's amazing.
I mean, just 4th level pick up Meta Magic Adept and you can just twin spell whatever the fuck you want with additional magical secrets. Whatever you wish. You know, there's so many cool things that you can do. It's so versatile. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
And then, of course, the final ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the final ability they get is Peerless Skill, which I feel gets a little overlooked sometimes, but at 14th level, when you make an ability check, you can expend one of your Bardic Inspiration die, and you can add that number rolled to your ability check. You can do so, same rules apply with that, you can do so after you roll the die for the free ability check, but before the DM tells you whether it succeeds or fails. So again, talk with your DM about that specifically, but yeah, being able to, at that level, add a D10, I believe, to basically anything is, or basically any ability check you make, on top of the fact you've already got expertise, you've already got Jack of all trades, so you've got a positive bonus, most likely, to every score already. So you pretty much are guaranteed to succeed with Peerless Skill.
Right. I mean, the reason why I guess people overlook it is like not many players get to that tier of play.
True.
No, yeah, tier 3 and tier 4 are pretty rare. I think it's only about 1% make it to tier 4.
Exactly. So I guess most people don't even look at it because it's like, this game's gonna end before 14.
Yeah.
Most likely, or I'm gonna
Usually
die.
Or
You know, that's usually what happens.
you
normally.
die.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you die or you just finish the campaign by then. So I see why people overlook it. I see why. But valuable regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's also not as flashy as the other abilities. Like
Yeah.
it's, oh, I get, a nice little bonus.
100%.
But, being able to cast Wish from additional magical secrets seems to outweigh it a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, again, that's also if you end up getting to tier 4.
Yeah, if you make it that far.
Yeah. Alright, College of Valor. Con, take it away, buddy.
College of Valor. Well, like we said earlier, this college is for people who if you want to play a bard and still do some damage with some weapons. College of Valor, because their bonus proficiencies at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Pretty awesome.
Pretty good.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. And trust me, you're gonna like get yourself some good armor. Like really, like as a spellcaster, it's good if you have proficiency to armor. Get yourself good armor as a caster. It's good to have.
Yeah.
I've learned that the hard way. Yeah. And but also at 3rd level they get combat inspiration, which is a pretty cool feature. So a creature that has a bardic inspiration die from you can roll that die and add the number rolled to a weapon damage roll it just made. Alternatively, when an attack roll is made against the creature, it can use its reaction to call the bardic inspiration die and add the number roll to its AC against that attack after seeing the roll, but before knowing whether it hits or misses. It's something like cutting words, but sort of like, rewired and reworked in a way.
Actually, I would say
Yeah.
Okay, first off, this is a fantastic ability.
Yeah.
Being able to up your AC by 1d6 is ridiculous.
Exactly.
But that said, though, the whole against the attack after seeing the roll but before knowing the attack with the hits or misses. At this point in time in play, you know your party members' ACs.
Yeah.
So immediately you're just going to use it. If the rolls are, so my party member's AC is 16, the roll was a 20. I'm going to roll it.
Yeah.
It's just like.
I mean, it can definitely come in clutch, like especially I guess like through the lower levels to somewhat mid levels. will definitely come in clutch.
Oh, I mean, even tier 4 play, dude, a plus 12 to your AC, potentially.
Plus 12 to AC potentially. Yeah,
That's pretty sick, dude.
that's sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
sick.
it.
The damage potential also for it is pretty valuable since it is technically a dice roll, and if memory serves, rules is written, if your ally crits with that, the damage from all their dice would be doubled, as well as the Bardic Inspiration die.
Really?
There you go.
Oh.
Last I checked, I might be wrong on that, but either way, that's how I would run in my game if I had a College of L Bard. Is you crit, you can add that because it should be crittable.
Wow. Okay. So quick question. So here's the thing. So say a enemy has a multi-attack situation. First attack, your AC goes up with that Bardic Inspiration. Does your AC maintain, or is it just for that one attack alone?
As it's written, I believe it's just that single
Just
attack.
that attack, yeah.
Right.
As
Okay.
written,
Yeah.
it says that attack. So
Okay. Yeah. So then, its value goes down a little bit more. I mean, it's one
Yeah.
attack you could potentially make not hit you. Sure.
could make a difference. Could
make a
that,
difference. Could make a
that difference that you needed.
yeah, because like in my head, I thought it worked like shield, as it stays the entire time, but clearly, or parry. Was it parry? Yeah, parry from the Battle Master.
Battle Master Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, again, negating one attack could be valuable. Sure. It's just that like if you're up against Tiamat, fight.
It's see, when you're up against Tiamat, you know shit's fucked anyways.
No, I mean, again,
Something's
I'm-
really gone wrong if you're up against Tiamat.
Yeah. No, I'm okay, fine. Fuck Tiamat. The Hydra. Go up against a Hydra.
Yeah.
It has as many attacks as it has heads. So say it has 5 heads, and you're just like, I can block maybe one.
One. Maybe. That also is a gamble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, there's very few combat encounters from a design perspective where the DM's just gonna have one big thing that only attacks once.
Right.
Usually, if you're either fighting a group of enemies and one big thing, or one big thing that has multiple attacks. So, being able to mitigate some of the damage is still good.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, like, don't get me wrong. It's valuable. It's just I'm looking at it from perspective of final boss fight, and the boss fight has 5 heads. It can attack me 5 times. I'm just like, I can negate 1, but the other 4 are gonna hit me. So, yay! Because it has a plus 90 to hit or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well,
I mean-
fuck. Well, I mean,
But-
at the same time, you can always. There are ways to fix that. Tasha's Mind Whip is ridiculous. It'll just stop them from doing multi attacks, which is fantastic. That's a 2nd level spell, which is so good.
That or slow.
That
It's
or
also
slow.
a good option.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, again,
Which
the
Slow
it
in
just
conjunction
turns.
with this ability.
Actually, yeah, how the fuck would that work, dude? No, because the thing is, if
fairly
Tasha's. No, I'm saying is Tasha's Mind Whip with slow.
Oh.
What do you do then? Okay, what? That's
Well,
a
effectively-
that's a conversation for a different time. Sorry. We're going completely off the reservation. Let's come back. Let's come back to that. We'll shelve that for now.
Well, that's combat inspiration.
Yeah.
And at 6th level, you get extra attack. Hey,
Valuable.
you probably didn't know, did ya? But yeah, extra attack. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. So that can come in handy. And at 14th level, you get battle magic, which is kind of cool, I feel, but I don't know at this. And just hear it out first. At 14th level, you have mastered the art of weaving spellcasting and weapon use into a single harmonious act. Ooh. When you use your action to cast a bard spell, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action. So,
I mean, think about it, dude. You can use a longbow, and if you have sharpshooter,
yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
cast a spell, lower their AC even further, or something like that, whatever you wish, and just shoot them.
Yeah.
And do metric fuck ton of damage.
Yeah,
Especially
like I
at
said,
that.
like so many. It depends on, however, like I think there are so many combos you can think of.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially at that point, 14th level, you probably have a decent amount of magic items and magic weapons. So you probably have some sort of special weapon that can do something like, immobilize or whatever. So you action cast a spell to, as Paul said, lower their AC or,
Give you advantage.
lower their defenses and
Yeah.
exactly. And then use the weapon in conjunction with that. So,
Yeah.
which is ultimately what this build is. It's the classic Gish style of I'm both a martial focused character and a magic focused character, and have kind of joined them into one. So you've built a character for this, and battle magic is kind of just the pinnacle for the bard, or call it valor specifically, of being able to combine those. Because Eldritch Knight, which is one of the fighter subclasses, gets basically the same ability but much earlier because it is more focused on the martial side.
Yeah.
Where
Okay, for those of you not familiar with what Gish means, essentially, like Steve said, you're weaving spell casting with your swordplay.
Yeah, it's an old D&D term. Basically, just means spell mage or a spell sword. Someone who combines magic and fighting in one.
And fighting, yeah.
Yeah, when we touch the Blade Singer wizard, you'll understand why.
Yeah, and College of Valor, especially for this reason, is actually pretty good just to take even a few levels into, say, Paladin, since they're both charisma casters, because that allows you to smite on top of that.
Yeah.
So you can end up dealing a lot of damage late game.
Yeah, common inspiration. Can you inspire yourself or no? You can't, right?
You can at later levels.
Oh,
That's
okay.
one of the
Later,
abilities you get.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so those are the subclasses. Now we go back to the rest of the features you get through a bard. And yeah, multi-classing options, there you go. Even, actually, bard into sorcerer, wizard, or paladin, up to you. They're all charisma-based magic users.
Or warlock.
Or warlock, of course. Jesus. Fucking bard warlock.
Warlock, but oof. Barlock.
Yeah. It's an incredibly good combo, especially from a roleplay's perspective.
Ooh.
Say you go Fiendlock, you literally
Jeez.
sold your soul to the devil
Yeah.
so you could get good at music.
Yeah! You're Jack Black, basically.
I was going to say Robert Johnson, but that also works.
But yeah.
Yeah, but that's College of Valor.
Yeah.
Well, the two subclasses in the player's handbook.
And also at third level, you gain expertise, which is what everybody fucking wishes they had. Only the bards and the goddamn rogues get this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate it.
Rangers kind of get it, and there's a few subclasses that get abilities that are essentially expertise. Because ultimately expertise is just you double your proficiency on a specific skill that you're already proficient with.
Yeah, but that's super valuable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a way of pretty much guaranteeing at least some level of success in whatever skill check you're making.
Yeah.
Because especially, once you hit about 5th level, that's a +6 to whatever to the bonus.
Yeah.
On top of your skill.
Exactly, which
Or
is
on top.
ridiculous. And the best part is, College of Lore, you get a couple of more abilities to choose from. Like a couple more skills.
Exactly.
Get expertise in those. And then you can do it again, expertise again at 10th level.
At 10th level.
Which is fuck. So again, like I mentioned earlier, they are the Swiss Army knife. You get to do so much shit with bards. They're so versatile and so. Again, I keep seeing their praises. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like playing a bard. But expertise is fantastic.
I think part of it, a lot of people will shy away from bard because there are certain expectations of what a bard is supposed to be. And that's mainly just
I
playing
think that's
into-
the stereotype, that leads
Yeah.
to that expectation. Oh, that person needs to be quite charismatic to even play one. I don't think so. Like,
Yeah,
if you
you
really want to play one, go for it.
I mean, like you could be
You
a
can play
deceptive
bard
bard.
with low charisma.
Yeah, you could. I mean, your
Very-
spells won't be good, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just
No, just otherwise also I think
take utility
even
spells.
Exactly, yeah,
to do that.
I'll give you
Like
haste.
I
or
did
whatever.
that
It's
with Von Grimm. I did just that. I took utility spells, and I play him as a bard who doesn't sing. He doesn't sing. He storytells. He was a storyteller who turned into like he took on a darker like persona now, and now he's more into like spreading legends and rumors also.
Oh.
Loves rumors. But yeah, I go for full on like buffs. I just like any utility spells like Bane, all those sort of spells. I go for those.
Yeah.
Like that's my play style with him.
Right.
I
mean,
love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. Like you could just be that deceptive rogue. Like I'm just here to just
Oh yeah.
lie,
Oh, yeah.
lie, steal, and like you could be Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
Lie, steal, and cheat.
Lie, I cheat, I steal.
You can be anything you want with a bard, which is kind of terrifying, but it's fun for players.
Super fun.
Then,
fun.
like every other any other class, you get your ASIs at 4th, 8th, 12th, and 16th,
Mhm.
and 19th also. But I mean, this is excluding the fighter and the rogue who get more than that. But again, you get to increase your ability scores by either 2 ability scores by 1 or 1 ability score by 2. And as a bard, because of Jack of all trades, you can always just, and of course expertise, you can mess around with whatever you want to up for yourself. And it's good fun. And plus, if you're good on the scores that you already have, grab feats, man. I think bards are the few classes, like one of the few classes that use feats really well.
Yeah, you have the liberty to do so.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then comes the okay, 5th level. Go for it.
And then we have Font of Inspiration at 5th level. So at 5th level, you regain all of your expended uses of Bardic Inspiration when you finish a short or long rest. Which is, like, trust me, this is awesome. At level 5, like, it becomes really cool because you really want to use that Bardic Inspiration as much as possible. So, like if you're doing, you're going to do a long run through, I don't know, some camp or a dungeon or something, and you're going to do a couple of short rests. Oh yeah, you're going to be happy. You can use your inspiration in combat as freely as possible.
No, here's the thing also, like there's no rule saying they can only take 1 short rest per day.
Yeah.
You can take as many as you'd like.
Yeah.
I mean,
if the situation
exactly calls for it.
Loves you. Yeah.
But it's also the fact that like people have a limited hit die. Like your hit dice is tied to your level, right?
True.
So at 5th level you have 5 hit dice. So Song of Rest can be used, sure, whatever. But you can just take a short rest. That way your Warlock party member gets his spell slots back. You get your inspiration back, and if you're a College of Lore bard, you immediately have Cutting Words back. And it's good stuff. It gives you more options. You are no longer scared to use your... Not scared, that's the wrong word. You're no longer stingy with your Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah. Like, even between one short rest, like, say in combat, you use all... Say you have 4 Bardic Inspiration, you use all 4, and then you take a short rest, that's it, you get those 4 back again. And you're going into combat immediately. Like, if you're pretty sure there you go, you have 4 again to use, ready.
Quick
So
question.
it's like, you don't need to hold back.
Do bards get catnap or no?
Yes, they do.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Short rest immediately. 10 minutes go. But yeah, Font of Inspiration is fantastic. Bards, when you hit 5th level, use and abuse it. Because if you go lower, next level, Magical Secrets, baby.
Oh yeah.
And then I think you just pick up Demon Shiny Heart and you're like, good.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
But
the next ability.
Go for it, Steve.
Yeah.
The next ability after that is, I guess I don't know if I'd say super controversial, but I feel there is some contention for it, which is Counter Charm. So reading the ability, you gain the ability to use musical notes or words of power to disrupt mind-influencing effects. As an action, you can start a performance that lasts until the end of your next turn, which is a sticking point.
Yeah.
During that time, you and any friendly creatures within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. Creature must be able to hear you gain this benefit. The performance ends early if you're incapacitated or silenced, or if you voluntarily end it, no action required. So there's a few mechanical issues with that one being effective.
Yeah.
Times, which is, it requires an action. You have to know that you're in a situation where people are going to be charmed or frightened. And if you're silenced, incapacitated, it just stops. So it's like a worse version of like a paladin aura in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this being used properly. Because I remember, I remember that moment in Farland where my paladin got charmed by that undead beholder, and Adi's like, "I'm going to use counter charm," and we're just like, "Don't think that works that way."
Yeah, it's partially up to how the DM is running the game ultimately, which is do they just tell you, all right, you are charmed or frightened, or do they enforce the idea that you have to know that? So that can
I mean, because it also it comes down to them also knowing, like your bard themselves knowing that does this creature have the ability to cast enchantment spells?
Yeah.
Or
have some sort of innate charm effect.
Right. So it's just like it's so niche that it's almost negligible.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, it takes an action to do so, which is terrible.
Yeah. Part of the issue with it also is, say you're in a situation where you do know you're going to fight something that can frighten or charm you or your party members. The last thing in most of those situations you're going to want to do is start making noise. So just starting
playing
to play
a song.
Oh yeah. Immediately people are like, what the fuck are you doing?
We're in the vampire's lair. Hold on.
Pull out that loot, boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've gone back and forth on ways to fix the ability, which currently I just have it as a bonus action because I think at least then it has some level of use, and it doesn't feel like you're wasting your entire turn if it doesn't work. Because also, again, it's just advantage, which is a 25% increase to your odds of succeeding, but you can still fail on that. So, the bard just wasted their action potentially.
Yeah, and plus, again, we've talked about this many times. Action economy is super valuable for players. If you're losing your action, like for example, like if I'm playing a Calls of Valor bard, I have extra attack. I don't get to attack if I use my action to use counter charm.
Yeah.
Immediately, my use goes down significantly. So it's just one of those moments where you're just like, I don't give a shit about this. I have a paladin who has an aura. We'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the other thing is most paladins have auras that accomplish similar or the same thing. Yeah. So.
And their auras are passive.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be a fix to it. Is just you have it as some sort of passive ability, but they're implementing that is very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, the bonus action concept works a little better, I'd say, as a good fix. Because at least you still have your action. But then it comes down to the whole, like, so wait, it's using, what was it? These musical notes or words of power as well. Okay, so you could just like, you can scat your way while you're just slashing people with your sword if you're a Valor Bard. Yeah. Just do a, what's her name? Oh, I forgot her name. Damn, that jazz singer. Liza Minnelli.
Wait, the first jazz singer you think of is Liza Minnelli?
I don't know why suddenly you thought of her.
Because the Kids Next Door thing popped in my head.
Oh.
where something happened with
Fair
Liza
enough.
Minnelli. I can't remember why, but yeah. Because like immediately scatting, I immediately go, yeah, Liza Minnelli. Yeah, hell yeah, she did that shit.
Not Cab Calloway, not any other famous jazz musician.
Of course.
Liza Minnelli.
Yeah. You know, whatever. You know, like just do whatever you can to make sure they don't. But yeah. But making it a bonus actually makes a lot more sense. I feel. Because at least you have your
Yeah,
action to do
it's-
something else more, useful.
Yeah, I think it feels better, but I don't think that's necessarily a full fix. It's definitely one of those abilities that I feel like if and when 5.5 comes out, that'll be one they probably look at and change in some way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like you have to make, or you either make something, like make a magical item or something that puts out this aura, but it'll be it'll be a closer range aura as opposed to a long range 30 feet. You know what I mean?
Potentially, yeah.
Like that could be a decent thing. Like it's an expensive thing to make, or whatever.
I mean, the concept of going into battle and playing music, I think there is a audience for that, as far as like
100%.
people who want to build that type of character. It's just the ability itself either needs to be more powerful or it needs to not be as expensive within the action economy,
Yeah.
or potentially both.
I mean, the idea also is the fact that I play a solo so rad it makes your head explode. You know, it's kind of cool. It's like the whole Jack Black moment in fucking Pick Up Destiny, where you just blow someone's head off by just, singing at him.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like that is the ideal bard in a lot of ways.
yeah.
It is Jack
100%.
Black.
Yeah. He is the bard.
Yeah.
So after Counter Charm comes level 10.
Magical
Secrets. Jesus. Go for it.
So, by 10th level, you have plundered magical knowledge from a wide spectrum of disciplines. Oh my. Choose 2 spells from any class, including this one. A spell you choose must be of a level you can cast, as shown on the bar table, or a cantrip. The chosen spells count as bard spells for you and are included in the number in the spells known column of the bard table. And you learn 2 additional spells from any class at 14th level and again at 18th level.
So for information, spells known at 10th level, a bard can know 14 spells. So keep that in mind when you're picking your magical secrets.
Yeah.
You're
But-
also hitting
but-
5th level spells at that point, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
Teleportation
pretty big.
circle. Go for it. Wall of force. Have fun.
So many.
Yeah.
I mean, it's any class. So it's
5th level druid and or fucking cleric spells. Jesus. It's nuts.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Then at 14 and 18,
And-
you get to pick 2 more spells again?
And to think if you're a low board, you already have 2.
Yeah.
So now you're racking
which
2
don't
more.
which don't count against your spells known.
Yeah, which don't. So
It's nuts.
it's like you just get those for free. Like, yeah, just take it.
Yeah.
As a low bar.
Yeah, just fuck. Options. Like I would be a College
Yeah.
of Lore bard with fucking what was it called? Damn it, spiritual weapon. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the better choices, especially if you're
That'll be
building-
good fun. Spiritual weapon, you throw your spectral image out, you play music for it, and it's dancing and kicking someone's ass.
Yeah. God damn. Or again, College of Valor, fucking Spirit Guardians. Go, have fun.
I mean, Awaken, just from a roleplay perspective, can be a really fun one for that as well.
Awaken is pretty nasty.
Ooh.
You do need 1,000 gold, but
At that
You know,
point, yeah.
assuming,
Yeah.
yeah, at that level of play, that's usually not that big a deal. And with your natural charisma, it's an easy way to just make, a giant tree friend.
Yeah.
Or an army of giant tree friends.
I found a tiger. Can I keep him? Roll for it. You succeed. Great. Or, a manticore. Why not?
Mine.
Yeah, it's just Jesus Christ. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is the bard. I mean, so Paul, do you feel like playing a bard?
No, no, I do not feel like playing a bard.
Well, let's see if the last feature changes your mind. Which is at level 20, Superior Inspiration. Yeah, go for it, Steve.
Yeah, so Superior Inspiration, when you roll initiative and have no use of Bardic Inspiration left, you regain 1 use, which is pretty similar to a lot of caster abilities at that level, is just, sorcerers basically get the same thing at 20th level, because at that point, the main draw isn't the features as much as it is the fact that you have, 8th and 9th level spells.
Yeah.
So that one's not incredibly good, but can be clutch in, because again, if you're making it to tier 4 play, there's basically 2 types of combats you're going to be running into, which is you fight one really big thing, like a Tiamat, or you're doing super mega dungeon crawls, where you are going to be using all your Bardic Inspiration all the time, because you have to, and getting 1 extra use can be valuable, especially with all the, since every subclass gets a special use of Bardic Inspiration, so having that extra use is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
I
mean, they're as a capstone feature, it seems mediocre.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
Quite mediocre.
But I mean, it's like Steve said, it can come in clutch.
Yeah. I disagree with the overall design philosophy from Wizards on that, which was that basically, the casters are getting these crazy ass things. Their level 20 ability doesn't need to be crazy. Which, if you've gotten that far, just go all out.
Yeah.
Give them, you can now play a song that literally bursts people's heads. Or,
Yeah. It's because yeah.
I mean, hell, you have unlimited use of Bardic Inspiration.
Why not? Shit, right?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Like barbarians get unlimited rage.
Yeah.
Druids get unlimited wild shape. Why shouldn't bards get unlimited Bardic Inspiration? I mean, again, it's only going to affect 1% of players, so let them go for it, and that's one less thing they have to keep track of.
Yeah, and it's all D12, so I'm like, inspiration for you, inspiration for you, inspiration for everybody. Whatever. It's once per turn.
It's once per turn, that's it.
So I mean,
it gives you guaranteed bonus action at the very least.
Yeah, and also like Steve also said, hardly anybody gets to tier 4 play. Level 20 is such a rare occurrence.
Yeah,
it's super rare.
So when you get there, you don't want this, honestly.
Yeah, no, because most of the time,
literally you'll be like, oh, okay. While everyone else in your party will be like, oh, yes, let's go. Yeah. And you'll be like, yeah, I get an inspiration.
I mean, think about it. Like fucking, what do you call it? Fuck, I had a train of thought and I completely lost it now. Damn it.
I was gonna say, it's sort of like if you go out to dinner and everyone's getting dessert, someone gets this giant sundae, somebody gets a whole cake, and then you just get a dinner mint.
Yeah.
It's
It feels bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, if I ever did a campaign or anything which went up to level 20, and if there was a bard, I would honestly give them the unlimited bardic inspiration idea.
Yeah.
You know what, buddy? You get this? Fuck what the book says. Take this, bro.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Now I remember the thing. The only time you're ever playing level 20 characters is in one-shots.
Exactly. So...
Yeah. Which it doesn't really matter anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are very
doesn't matter.
It's a very middling. I think Critical Role is the only campaign per se that goes from 2 to 20.
I mean, that's because of their format and
the format and everything.
The production.
Yeah, you're 100%. Don't get me wrong.
Well, even they didn't go.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I think they went up to level 15 in their last campaign.
Last one,
campaign 2 was 15?
Yeah, was 15. Yeah, it was 15.
Oh,
They ended that.
Okay, then fair.
Yeah, so even people who are doing it professionally can't get to tier 20 or level 20.
Yeah, because it just like Steve said, after a point, it's like either you're TP king or you're steamroller.
Yeah.
It's
It is
very
very
hard.
difficult to design encounters past really level like 12 is where you start to hit the problem of either I'm putting them in an unfair situation or they're just going to roll over whatever I put in front of them.
Yeah, because most of the time, monsters you have to end up putting in front of them is roll, save or die.
Yeah.
That's what ends up happening. Save or die.
You have to get a lot more creative with the combats you're presenting, is my general thing on it, which is you have to move it from the, all right, we need to kill this thing to, okay, we need to save this person, potentially kill this thing in the process, but we have, you have to give your players more than one goal a lot of the times.
Right.
Mm.
Good, yeah. No, tier 4 play is sketch, to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how you guys can incorporate bards into your games, in terms of role play and what kind of roles that you can put yourself into. Like we already mentioned how versatile it is. Like you can make up for any deficiency that other player characters have made, because like all players don't sit around and make the characters together.
Mm-hmm.
They usually make a separate. So I choose, like, say I will be, if I'm a rogue, stealth. That's what I'm going with. You have a sorcerer instead of a wizard, so you don't have an intelligence caster. So you don't have anybody who's very, very, very good at investigation or history checks or whatever. Your bard can then fit that immediate niche role, which is kind of fun. But it can also be a little taxing to the point where you just become the go-to for everything, which I feel that happens a lot to people.
It can. That ultimately comes down, I think, more to just how the DM runs the game. Because a lot of times, if you do build a proper jack of all trades where you are basically good at everything, and the party chooses to rely on you, that's fine. But that also ends up in the situation of, is it the party choosing to always put this person in the limelight, or is that person just kind of taking the limelight? And that ultimately just comes down to DM also.
Yeah.
No, because I always think it's one of the few things I worry about playing a bard is the fact that I don't want to become the quote-unquote hero or face of the party. I don't like that. I want all my players I want everyone to shine at the same time.
Yeah, you have to, if you're playing a bard, you have to be smart in choosing your moments, which is true in general in the game, but especially with a bard, because it is, again, probably the most roleplay centric of classes. You could argue Warlock is a little bit more, but that's more just you have built-in, roleplay with your patron or whatever. Whereas bard is, my character is good at something specific.
Yeah, it's
Usually
always...
talking.
Yeah, exactly. Gift of gab. Go for it. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't have to be, but usually it's.
Yeah.
Usually is. That's right. Yeah, it usually is.
No, it's because it's just... I don't know, man.
I mean, so I play the bard that's just the opposite of that, right?
Right.
I literally play the bard who's the opposite of that, in the sense where he talks only if the party turns to him, because they know he can talk. But he doesn't like to always be, he doesn't like being put in charge of things. He can't. He's no responsibility. But I can probably, if you want me to, I can help. I can try and talk this person into doing something for us or whatever. It's like how we got those guys to help us start another sabotage in another part of this city. So I convinced those guys. First they were trying to put scene with us and all that, and then I used chumma vai odchafai with them, and listen, you don't want to fuck with the captain of our ship and all sorts of balls and all sorts of scam. Just I haven't even met the captain of the ship as yet. But just putting them on edge, and that we ended up gaining those, rather getting those guys on our side, and their distraction helped a lot in the
Right.
siege.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think, like, if you personally want to play a bard and you feel like, hey, I don't want to be in the limelight, and you think, like, is bard going to be right? Yeah, you can still play a bard who's, like, not in the limelight all the time.
Yeah, like I've
Pick your
had
moments.
I've had multiple
Let's keep
concepts for bards that were mute, for instance. They didn't
See,
speak
there
at all.
you go. Jeez, man, that's amazing.
Like there's a lot. I mean, this is true with all the classes to an extent, but I feel like bard it's more true, which is that you can ultimately take it in any direction, and it is kind like a fighter is for martials, bard is for any sort of creative magic, or any sort of magic that is not, I sit down and study for it, or I got it from another source,
Right.
or in the sorcerer's case, I have innate magic.
Charisma cast is always interesting.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also like Steve said, you can also make a low charisma bard and just go utility spells, stuff like bless. Actually, you can bless you can pick with magical secrets, of course, but whatever. You can just buff your party members, give them bardic inspiration, use cutting words here and there. You just don't use debuff spells or saving throw based spells.
Yeah, just anything that doesn't involve a saving throw, and you're good. Invisibility is on their list. See invisibility, also silence.
Super valuable.
Like there's enough spells on the bard list, and the fact that you get spells from any class helps out to make it to where you can build any sort of flavor of bard you want, whether it's a nature bard, whether it's like a goth bard, whatever you want to do, it's within the confines of the class, which is really cool.
I mean, I like the whole idea of you're Jack Black. You just sing at people and they die. Like every spell that you cast is coming from your musical instrument. You're casting Fireball, you start playing the sick ass solo, so your fingers just light on fire, and you just unleash this massive blast. You finish the solo, and of course, this massive fireball flies out and crashes into somebody. Flavoring. The flavor ability is ridiculous. If your vicious mockery killed somebody, just their head blows up.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons the Bard/Barbarian multiclass was a big thing, especially in 3rd edition, was because people wanted to basically play a metalhead, or like,
Tom Bombadil.
a character. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's good fun. The thing is, like, I see the appeal of the bard. Don't get me wrong. I see it. I 100% understand people who love the class. It's just not for me. That's all. I don't like the playstyle.
Fair enough.
But I see the value, and it's kind of nuts. Because
there's
it's a science fits all, right?
I was gonna say with as many subclasses as there are, especially now with the other books.
Yeah.
You can build kind of any bard to, if you want to be a damage dealer, College of Valor is a pretty good option. College of Swords, College of Whispers all deal pretty significant damage with the abilities they have. If you want to be more of a utility caster, College of Lore. Like, within the mechanics, I feel like it actually is pretty solid to kind of just do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing is, like, there is, stigma is the wrong word. There's a certain expectation that comes with playing a bard. Like we mentioned earlier, it's like, you are either the face of the party or something else of the sort, right? So it's always difficult. Like other classes, I feel have a good balance in terms of I can be whatever I wish, while something like a bard has there's already a preconceived notion as to how it should behave in game.
Yeah, the horny bard meme has kind of permeated the game a little too much, I think.
Yeah, the horny bard is extremely prevalent.
Yeah, and that's again also something. If you want to do that, first off, no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And second off, you should definitely talk with your DM and the rest of the players if that's a direction you want to go, because that's one of those things that out of game can cause problems for people.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you take something too far, or someone takes something out of context or misinterprets your intention with something, it can be very problematic. So I've never had a player, well, with one exception, I've never had a player who wanted to do that. And it is, I don't know, I'm trying to think the best way to phrase it. It's a negative stereotype that reflects poorly on the D&D community as a whole, because like if you go back and like watch old media about what people's interpretation of D&D was, that's usually one of the first things that comes up, is the guy who's just trying to fuck everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it has a hole, I can put something in it. You know, it's just like, no, don't. Please don't.
Yeah, I will gladly describe any sort of vicious, gory, stabbing you want to do on an orc, but we're not gonna discuss your sex life via you trying to bang this dragon. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just not happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As DMs, we have a line.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, the line does get blurry sometimes, but we still have a line.
Yeah, I think I established in our first session 0 from the last campaign is I basically keep that PG-13, whereas we will describe some basic stuff here for the sake of narrative, but anything serious and we're fading black because gross.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't want you. I will not flirt with you. You will not flirt with me, as a general rule.
Yeah. It gets weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like for everyone, like D&D is like their escape, right? It's to be something you're not, or be something better than who you, or whatever it is. So of course you want to be that horny dude who's just like, yeah, I'm getting all the chicks because I got a high ass charisma, so all the women love me, types, you know. It gives you the power fantasy, which is fine, but don't, please.
Yeah, like that is something that should be in the background of your character. It should not be a defining
Yeah, it
aspect.
shouldn't
of
be
your
the
character.
forefront of it. Yeah.
Like even the archetypical example is Scanlan Shorthalt from Critical Role,
Yeah.
and even then, there's only like 4 or 5 instances where like they mention like, yeah, we're gonna go to a brothel. And that's basically the only thing that they describe is, okay, you go to the brothel, and sex happens. That's about it. Like, that's as far as they really get with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's about where you should want it as a player, is like maybe some crude jokes every now and again. That's the other thing too, is a lot of people kind of default the bard into the category of comic relief, which they don't necessarily have to be. They can be, but you can play a super serious bard who is fully dedicated to their craft because maybe they're an elf who's been studying it for literal centuries.
Yeah. I mean, even think about the fact that, like, even if you look at all the colleges themselves, none of them, maybe except eloquence, lends to a comedic situation.
Right. Yeah.
You could argue College of Glamour.
Actually, yeah,
Sure,
Glamour's
but-
also there.
Sure. Glamour could be.
Xanathars, right?
Yeah, Xanathars. I mean, the thing, when we get Xanathars, we'll talk about that. But generally speaking, vast majority, let's say, okay, out of them, all of them, 2 of them can be put as a comedy situation, sure. But most of them depend on you being like College of Whispers. You are a sneaky motherfucker who can use psychic blades.
Oh yeah.
You cut people's brains up with spectral weapons. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, or your College of Swords. You are just beating people to death with swords.
Yeah, you're Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, which is, again, but there's so much inspiration for bards that you can draw from. Like, for example, College of Swords, Indigo Montoya, right there. It's ridiculous. It's super fun. Princess Bride, go for that fight. Get that one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Because you got rapiers.
Yeah.
Rapiers, bars get rapiers by default, right? Is that one of the weapons?
I believe so.
do.
Equipment, yeah, a rapier, a longsword, or any simple weapon, yeah. So we got the bat.
Mhm.
I'm gonna fence you. Which brings the whole concept of paladin in, where you can just go a compelled duel. Let's go.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why it's a really good multi-class is Paladin.
Paladin's
Just because
great.
it also... Yeah, Smite's an overpowered mechanic to an
Oh,
extent.
It's awesome. But they need it
Yeah.
though, right? But, I mean, but again, it's limited to their spell slots, which makes sense.
Yeah, them being half-casters works out a bit better for that.
Yeah. I mean, smites, sure, they're powerful, but, you know, makes sense. Less spell slot to use it with, and you can't smite as much as you'd like. But when you do get that crit, though, bruh, you smiting at the highest level you got.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually anything else you guys want to touch on about the bard before we close up, or?
I think we covered all the basics there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun class at the end of the day. Like I said at the start, they're super fun, and it's how you flavor them. It's how you flavor your bard to be. That's gonna be the bard. Like
Okay.
on paper, it's just mechanics that are given out to them. But at the end of the day, I feel it's how each one flavors their bard.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about. Let's say you're starting at level 1,
Mm-hmm.
whatever campaign you're in. What are you going to pick as a bard? Because no, you don't have your subclass. You're level 1.
Yeah.
So how are you building your bard? What spells are you choosing? What cantrips are you choosing? What equipment are you choosing? Are you going longsword? Are you going rapier? What's your plan? Like, how would you recommend somebody to play a bard right out the gate?
If it's your first time playing and you're wanting to get familiar with the overall mechanics of the class, then I would probably recommend looking at College of Lore as your eventual path, but before that, ultimately you only have 2 damage cantrips, which is Thunderclap and Vicious Mockery. I would probably say take Vicious Mockery and then whatever utility cantrip you want to take, depending on if you want to be more of a, if you do want to be the face of your party, something like Friends is super valuable. Prestidigitation is one of the best spells in general, so that's always a good option as well.
Yeah, because bards get Blade War, Dancing Lights, Friends, Light, Mage Hand. Mage Hand's good. Mage Hand could be fun. Mending, Message, Minor Illusion can also be very, very good. Prestidigitation, True Strike, and Vicious Mockery. I think Thunderclap.
I love Vicious Mockery.
Added in a different edition.
Yeah. Vicious Mockery as a spell is one of the best.
Yeah.
Because Vicious Mockery is great because it does 1d4
It's
psychic
brilliant.
damage and disadvantage.
They have disadvantage on their attack roll, next attack roll target.
Which at early levels is super valuable.
It's super valuable. I mean, you can
I think-
really annoy a DM with it at a point. I remember annoying Adi with it. He's like, God damn it! He's like, they don't need disadvantage. I was like, it's okay. He's mocked.
And the best
It's
part
also
about it
just
is sorry, go on.
I was going to say, it's also just an invitation for you as a player to be creative with your spell casting, because it's literally just you insult a guy and he takes
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah. So be creative with how you insult him.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's one of the few things people get turned off by is the fact that I need to be creative. I think that's what I know. Again, you don't have to
be.
I know you don't have to be.
Yeah.
But I remember you mentioned preconceived notions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes down to that also. Like most people get not, I wouldn't say turned off, more like they're scared to.
They put on the fence. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like I'm not quick on my feet. I mean,
that's the main thing is
yeah. I mean, look at Ethan. I use Vicious Mockery. What do you say? Fuck you. He's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I give him shit for that just because he's my roommate, so I give him shit.
Yeah.
But
100%.
normally if a player was just like, I use Vicious Mockery, I don't know what I want to say though, I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, in the moment you say some magical words and they take damage.
Yeah.
Like you can even reflavor it to an idea that Shiv had for one of his backup characters was a tiefling who uses Vicious Mockery, but they just speak in Infernal, so the words themselves in Infernal are what hurting them because
Right.
it's, you know, a
They
devil
can't
line.
Yeah, they can't perceive it, and they see like, oh my God, Satan, stranger danger.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, just a devil person just comes up to you and starts going, I'm like, fuck off, alright.
Like my brain, ow. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but but I think that's mainly like even like all your spells. Again, like we say, we flavored it with music or oration or interpretive dance or whatever it is. I think a lot of people are scared because they don't have that confidence to do it. I think it's one of those like for example, Khan. He is a natural performer. He's a musician by trade. So for him, stuff like this is relatively easy for him. For someone like me, I'm not a musician. I'm a music fan, but I can't think of something like, for example, cutting words or whatever. Like I can't think of something to say in the moment, and it feels really like even though I know it's okay, it still feels bad. You know what I
For
mean?
anyone
To be honest, for me, like on the fly, sometimes I don't get things on my head. So even I like sometimes I'm like, what do I say? Shit. And sometimes I don't just say fuck you, but something on those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for anyone who is wanting to play a bard but has that trepidation about it of, you know, oh, I'm gonna freeze up in the moment. Yeah, you probably are, as most people are. It happens.
Yeah,
and
it
most people are
happens.
gonna forget.
Exactly.
Everyone at the table's gonna forget as soon as your turn's over because they're concentrating on their turn.
Because they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Shit. Good joke, by the way, but
Yeah.
shit, I'm gonna die. Death saving throw.
I mean, there have been moments where I've been hit by a good inspiration. I'm just like, like, cool. But the thing is, like, a lot of people actually sit down and write down what they're gonna say for each of the spells.
Yeah,
Like,
some people like doing that.
yeah,
Which is fun.
fine. Yeah, which is
That-
great.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
What I started doing for like Wandrim, I started using him as more of a hype guy. So he like most of the time when we fight in the arena on the ship, he's like on his broomstick flying high, and I'm just hyping the crowd. And all my bardic inspirations, like I'll be like, oh, look at the beautiful gorgeous ice dragon. And look at the beautiful in front of him. He's gonna fall flat on his face. And I'm like, the bardic inspiration bonus action on him. And this thing action bane on this guy, and this guy.
Yeah.
You can just do that. Yeah. You just have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say take time. I think a lot of people have. How do I say this? It makes it difficult for them to read.
Yeah, trying to keep the mechanics of the game in mind while also trying to be funny or,
True.
pull off something can be difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of people have that divide in their head of, okay, this is the game, and this is my character in the game. Like, there's always that kind of, for a lot of people, there is that separation of mechanics and roleplay, which, as a DM, I treat them the exact same. Mechanics are there to facilitate roleplay, so... And I think that's, for a lot of people, that's where the divide comes in for playing a bard in the same way.
I mean, I will never play a bard. At least, okay. Let me rephrase. I don't think I'll ever play a bard. There might be a moment where I do. I'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's bite the bullet. See what I can do with this. Mainly, and the only reason I even play a bard is because I will want, like, in any game, say in any game Conrad runs, or even you Steve, you run. I will look at the team composition and see what is required. Do they need crowd control, which fucking bards are fantastic at? Or do they need a healer? Or do they need a frontliner? Do they need, there's multiple different things that party members could use in terms of to create a balanced party of sorts. only in that kind of a case would I say, you know what, I'll play a bard just so we have access to a few more things, more tools for us to use. So, you know, like that's how I would approach a bard, mainly just to fill in a role that needs to be filled.
Ultimately, yeah, they are the best filler class in a lot of ways of, you know, we need someone who's good at X, Y, Z. Well, I can just build a bard who is good or great at all of those.
Yeah. It's just... But it just becomes like a shoehorny situation, which I know some people don't like. Some people love that shit. They're like, yes, I will be charismatic. I will persuade and lie my way through everything. I will talk us, get us all the money. I will perform at fucking taverns all over the city and make bank and come back. I'm like, cool. If that's your thing, man, hell yeah. More power to you. But, you know, it's just like not everyone can do that. Not everybody has the confidence to do that stuff. I mean, like, I could never see Yen, for example, playing a bard.
I mean, we talked about it whenever in her initial design, because bard obviously made sense with warlock, mechanically speaking. And I kind of gave her the same pitch of, you know, you don't have to be the face of the party with this combination. But yeah, ultimately she went towards sorcerer because it made more sense for what she was trying to do. But
yeah,
you can totally make a bard who is just has a sheer force of will, because ultimately that's what charisma is just you have a strong force of will that translates into magic.
Yeah,
similar to a sorcerer.
Pretty cool. Actually, yeah. So, I've always wondered, like, the source of bard magic, you
know? From the lore, because there is the weave, which is the magical weave that Mr. made that holds magic within the world.
Magic within the world,
yeah. And bards are artists of some kind who have figured out how to channel their art to actually take advantage of that magic.
Okay. That's fair. Because it's always crazy, like, you know, like, everyone else's magic seem rather straightforward. Wizards learn their magic. Sorcerers are innately know their magic. Clerics and paladins get them from their deities. Warlocks from their patrons. Druids from nature. The bard has always been one of those. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
What?
The wizard, I've studied for centuries to learn this information. Sorcerer, I was gifted this innately by my heritage.
Yeah.
And the bard is, I don't know, I just started yelling at this guy and his head blew off.
Yeah, that works. Cool. It makes sense, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our episode for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Those of you in chat, I hope this was informative. Steve, thank you so much for coming on board, man. It's always good to have a different perspective from both of us. And I think that's... Oh yeah, of course, you can follow both me and Conrad on our respective social media platforms. At House of Grim for me on Instagram, at Connorboy_24, also on Instagram. If you have questions, you have doubts, feel free to throw them at us. And if we can't answer the question for you, we'll direct you to somebody who is more knowledgeable and has better information than us, which there are many people who are like that. Don't worry about that. We can give you all the resources that you need to play whatever character that you wish to play. Steve unfortunately has no social media because he doesn't believe in it, which is fair.
I'm just old man.
That also. And also, of course, as per usual, the beautiful art you see before you is done by our very own Priscilla Dillon. You can hit her up at Instagram at Prissy Dilly for any art that you wish, character art, any art, graphic design, whatever it is. Hit her up. She'll tell you her prices, all other good stuff, and, you know, get some stuff done. Like I said, she made some artwork for me. I'm having her make some artwork for some different campaigns that I'm part of, which I would love for her to put forward, and I'll share it with all of you. But I think that's going to be the end of us. Anything else you want to add to that?
I think we're good.
Anything from you, Steve?
Yep. I'm good.
All right. So thank you guys all, and we'll catch you guys next time. So roll for initiative, and we'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.